As an indie author, you have to decide how your ebooks are going to be listed on all of the book buying platforms, from Amazon to Barnes & Noble to Kobo, iBooks, and more. And there are two main ways of doing this. This is going to be a breakdown of those two so you can make a good decision for yourself. Now, the first way is by going direct. That means you're going to Amazon directly, listing your book, your manuscript, your metadata, the blurb, all the behind the scenes tagging and information. Then you're going over to iBook and doing the same thing. Then you're going to Kobo and you're doing the same thing for all the different providers. The other option is through an aggregator. An aggregator is something like Draft to Digital, where you upload your manuscript one time with all of that stuff and it sends it out to all of the different platforms. Now, you might be looking at me and saying, but KM, that sounds really good. I'd like to save some time and effort. So what do you need to know about this? There are pros and cons to each of these. Some places you should absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, no exceptions, be going direct. And sometimes using an aggregator is absolutely fine. I and most authors do a combination of both. So, like I said, there are certain places that you absolutely have to go direct. They will allow you to use an aggregator, but you shouldn't. Going direct through Amazon gives you support at Amazon, meaning if there's ever an issue on Amazon, you cannot call up Draft to Digital and deal with Amazon through them. You can't call up Amazon and say, hey, listen, you need to fix X, Y, and Z. They won't even speak to you because it went through the aggregator. And so that can lead to a ton of trouble for you. Now, another benefit to going direct is that you have access to certain features. On places like iBook, they have special ways of running sales. You can be included in special different collections and groups and advertising things that you can't do if you go through an aggregator. So there are certain places, Amazon, you never ever should use an aggregator for. Everything else is up to you, but there are benefits to doing it directly. But it also means more work for you because you then have to go and list all this information on all of these different sites and manage and maintain and update on all of these different platforms. Now, aggregators like Draft to Digital are fantastic because you can put it in once and then just deal with it once. Sometimes they'll pull in new platforms, so it will allow you to opt into going with another distributor and all of these different places, but you then don't have access to direct contact with those people. You can't get in on any of the special advertising things that some of them offer to you, and you don't really have too much in terms of support because what are you going to do? Go to them and hope that they go to somebody else? It's a game of telephone, and it can be a long and arduous process that usually isn't very fruitful. So with that in mind, what do you need to make your choice for? What is going to be most efficient and effective for you? Like I said, most authors use a combination of both of these things. I go direct with Amazon, and everything else, I started off with an aggregator because that's how I was brought up in this industry, to go through a specific, several different actually aggregators over the years. And that has worked really well for me. Now, if I were moving forward and I wanted to start branching out, I would absolutely go with direct, putting my book onto things like iBook and Barnes & Noble, because sometimes they do have special things that I can't access as somebody going through an aggregator. Now, the things I already have through an aggregator, I'm not going to take the time to go and redo and revamp all of those things, except Amazon. Always go direct with Amazon. I'm just going to leave those be. But moving forward, it's something I would consider depending on what I want to do. If I have a book that I think I'm really going to spend a ton of time and money and effort on, I might go direct through some of those other things so that I can leverage the benefits over there. It's more work for me, it's more to maintain, but it's worth it in the long run if I plan on accessing the special things that they are going to be offering to me. So it depends on each individual book for me moving forward, because I started out one way and I just have to make that choice moving forward based on each of those books. But for you, especially if you're just starting out, I would recommend, without a shadow of a doubt, always go direct through Amazon and then make your choice about the other ones. Understand what your schedule is. Understand how much effort you're willing to put into your business. Most authors that come to me don't want to put effort into their business, or very, very little. They just want to be able to write the book and make a ton of money, and that's not how it works. We know that. But they don't want to put the work in of going and maintaining all these things and listing all of these things and then being involved in some of these extra bonus advertising types things. And if that's not you, then that's fine. By all means, use the aggregator for everything else. You do not have to stress yourself out over this. So you have to weigh the pros and the cons, the benefits and the downfalls of this. Going direct costs you more time, but could offer you some really good value and really good opportunities, and gives you access to those places directly, meaning you can talk to their customer service and you can have a relationship with them. You also have to understand that going with an aggregator can save you some time and effort, so that in the grand scheme of things, you're not doing quite as much. So understand what you're willing to put into this and then make your decision. And just because you pick away doesn't mean you can't redo it. Yes, I have a ton of books through my aggregator because I've written a lot of books in my time. And I could sit there right now in my 6th year of my author career, and I could pull them out of the aggregator and I could go directly through there. It's a process. It's a time-consuming process because it has to come down and go up and all of the things. But I could do it if I were going to leverage the benefits. If I were going to leverage the benefits of that and not rely on my marketing the way that I'm doing it now, I might want to do that. Maybe not for all of my books, maybe for some of my books, or maybe for all of my books. But that's a decision that I would have to decide on making that time commitment for now to switch them over and then in the future to maintain them. You do not have to pick away and stick with it forever and ever. If something is going to change to suit you better, by all means, leverage that. You're doing the best that you can. Make the best decision for you. Just because somebody does it one way doesn't mean you have to do it another way. The only thing, and I keep saying it, but the only thing that you have to do is go direct through Amazon. That means 2 different uploads. You'll upload one to Amazon, one to the aggregator. That's your minimum. It doesn't take that much extra time, but it is so essential to be direct through KDP because there are so many issues that need to be resolved. You need to be able to get on the phone with them. You need to be able to email them or get into a chat conversation, which, by the way, I have videos on how to do that. You have to be able to speak with them. You have to. You cannot do this without them. And if you're already in there to sell your print books, there's just no point in going through an aggregator. And you get less royalties if you go through an aggregator for Amazon. You get a higher royalty, you get better rates by going direct. And sometimes you do it the other platforms as well. So you just have to make that decision for yourself and do a little bit of research on this. Aggregators are great. We love draft to digital here. We've actually had their employees on to have conversations. So we have videos on how to use it, how to leverage it, all of those things. I love it. I work with them. There are lots of other places that you can be using as well. And sometimes we'll see those flash in the pan pop-ups that come and go. You want to hear a horror story about one from a few years ago? Let me know in the comments below. But making the choice for you is different for everybody. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to do what your friend does. You don't have to do what another author does. You can make that choice for yourself depending on your level of commitment to either protecting your time or protecting the money that you could be making from it. What is your priority? Make that decision and move forward from there. If you want help on this or anything related to your publishing career, go ahead and drop your questions down below. Every day we're dropping brand new videos to help you navigate the world of publishing, from your publishing to your writing to your marketing, to make this your most profitable year ever, because your business is working on your behalf while you're off living your best life and living out your author dreams. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.